There we go. Much better. Just gonna move that. Boy, do we have some fun today. Not really going to have any naps tonight, I don't believe. Man. You wanted a good one. Not a great. Does nobody want it? Is that what we hate? Is there something I can do to make the children listen? My random ass vocalizations before the show. They're kind of a tradition at this point. Huh. Yawn number 1. Do 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 That's 2. And that one was more directly into the mic than I thought it would be. Well, is it... I thought I heard something fall. No. Well, I think it's about that time. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to, finally, as we can talk about it this way, Season 2, Episode 1 of Goal to Go Live. I am your host, as always, Ben Schluter, and, yes, I am alone tonight. Pretty much alone all the time. I'm a lonely person, or am I? I don't know, that's not important. Here's what's important. Tonight, we'll be talking about 3 things. We'll be talking a little bit about some Saints football and some LSU football, and then, of course, excuse me, NFL rules discussion. A thing that I wanted to do mainly because of some problems I had over the weekend. Now, I'm not really going to be talking about as much of the Saints and LSU, mainly because I've realized that, oh my god. I will say this. The next LSU home game is an 8 o'clock kickoff. Somebody kick my ass for that one. Just gonna double check. Yeah. Nope. That game is, in fact, the day before a noon kickoff for the New Orleans Saints. So that's fun. I guess I won't be watching the replay of that game. Unless we blow out the Auburn Tigers, in which case I will. But yeah, LSU's next game is an 11 a.m. game at Stark Vegas at the Mississippi State Bulldogs. It'll be interesting to see how that game goes. But yeah, LSU lost Andre Anthony for the season. He's a defensive lineman. He was a 6th-year senior, big leader. He's still going to probably be around the football team itself. Yeah, like I said, injuries are going to hurt us this year. Didn't know how much. Turns out it was a lot. But hey, Corey Kiner for RB1. Please keep Ty Davis-Price out of there. He can't run the ball as well as Corey Kiner can. Corey Kiner just shoves a dude off. I don't care if it was a second-string guy, because I have seen Ty Davis-Price run. He don't run that hard. Ty Davis-Price just does not run that hard. I don't like the way he runs. I wish it were better. I hope he works on it. But until such a time as that, please make Corey Kiner RB1. When Clyde Edwards-Helaire is telling you things, and granted, Clyde Edwards-Helaire did not have a great Sunday, so maybe not. I don't know why I picked Clyde Edwards-Helaire first in my fantasy league, which, by the way, I won my fantasy game. By the end of Sunday Night Football. I won it on Sunday Night Football. And I basically already locked it up because of how many guys I had on Sunday Night Football. So let's go. 2-0 start. I legit didn't expect this. And I just remembered, Clyde was not my first-round draft pick. My first-round draft pick was Travis Kelce, which was actually pretty decent. But yeah. 3. Yeah. So yeah. This is going to be a little all over the place before we get to the rules discussion, because that's the thing I actually had planned, but I thought might as well talk about other things. Let's not talk about the Saints. This is not 26-7, worst offensive output for the Saints, yardage-wise, since the year 2001. We got shut out in that game. That game was on January 6th, I believe, 2002. Yeah. Not a great year. Not a great year. We actually, had a chance in that game. could have made the playoffs. Could have made the playoffs. Yeah, the 2001 to 2004 Saints were actually tragedies in and of themselves after looking this up. If the Saints had won one game of their last 4, or I think it was last 3 or last 4, no, they would have had to win. Give me a few seconds if you would like to hear the story of the sad little Saints. So basically, here's what happened. In 2001, the Saints are doing okay, 7-5, coming into a Week 14 matchup with the Rams on Monday night. It was the first of 4 straight losses. We finished 7-9. Had we beaten just the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers had played the rest of their games out the same way, the Bucs and Saints would have finished with dueling 8-8 records, and the Saints would have made the playoffs with the head-to-head win. Because a reminder, the Bucs were not in our division at the time. So, next year, Saints are fantastic. They're 9-4 with 4 to go. And they proceed to drop all 4. Had we won just one of those games, we would have made the playoffs over the 9-6-1 Falcons. We didn't. We lost a game to the then 1-13 Bengals. The Nick Lucci game, as I'm calling it. And what it might be called from now on. Yeah. 2003, River City Relay. That doesn't necessarily knock us out of the playoffs, though, because we'd already been knocked out of the playoffs. The Cowboys won like a few minutes later, which knocked us out. Anyway, we needed a win, and like there weren't many opportunities because the teams we lost to were playoff teams, like solid playoff teams. But, you know, maybe a win over the Panthers or a win over the sweeping the Bucs would have helped. And then in 2004, it's worse. In 2004, we actually started 4-8 and then finished 8-8. We trailed in every single game. Had we just beaten the Vikings, we would have been 9-7. Not only that, but let's say we lose another random game, we have the tiebreaker over the Vikings. Because the Vikings won't finish with the same record as us, necessarily. And, you know, like, we'd have the tiebreaker because stuff. Still. The good news is, in 2005, we decided to make sure that we did not have any playoff expectations or anything, because we went 3-13. Yeah, that's not good. Anyway, what else is there? Let's talk about officiating. Let's first talk about SEC officiating. Specifically, the dumbest call or miss, potentially, I've ever seen. It's Memphis hosting Mississippi State. Memphis is going to get the ball on a punt. Multiple Mississippi State gunners or defenders go and touch the football, with one of them appearing to ground it. The referee blows his whistle, inadvertently. But a Memphis player picks up the football and runs it all the way back for a touchdown. It is signaled a touchdown, they rule it a touchdown. So, there were 3 problems on the play. The SEC admitted to 2 of them. The third problem that they don't admit to is the fact that one of those defenders has the ball in his control with his knee on the ground, making the play dead at that spot. And I say dead at that spot, that's not where everything would work. So number 1, that inadvertent whistle. They could have heard the inadvertent whistle, and they'd have blown the ball dead when that happened. But that's fine. Here's what I think is inexcusable. Memphis had 2 number 4s on the field on the same play. They had 2 guys with the same number on the field at the same time. Now, you can't do that. I don't know how to explain this. You can't do that. I don't even know how you missed that. It's like no referees were coming around and was like, hey, you see what number 4 did? Which number 4? Wait a minute. And yes, I know this happens. Texas A&M has a guy who wears the same number as another player on their return team. At least they did last year, and they'd always give him a different jersey. And, yeah. That's a thing. So, yeah. That was bad. There was also some stuff in the Penn State Auburn game, but since I didn't watch that nor care enough about it, all I heard was that apparently Penn State or Auburn, I think Penn State got shorted an entire down somehow. Like it was Canadian football. So that's a thing. But yeah. But if there's any place, and by the way, tonight's episode is going to be short, partially due to I have schoolwork that I want to do, so that I don't have to do it other days, specifically tomorrow. Yeah. Let's just jump into this. The NFL has a rule book. The NFL has officials. People don't like how those two things mix. There was a lot of penalties yesterday, not just on the Saints, which most of them were deserved, but a couple of them were bullshit. No, you had the Chargers-Cowboys game, where I think there were like 21 total penalties. There were other games. I do not remember them very well. But I want to go through some rules. Some rules which I think need to, be talked about. We don't need to talk about the taunting rule, though we can talk about the taunting rule. I mainly want to go over roughing the passer, mainly because that's the one that got called during my game. So the Saints got called for 2 separate roughing the passers, and the Panthers got called for one. The Panthers roughing the passer was pretty blatant. He hits him with this helmet. It was helmet-to-helmet contact. Like, you're gonna get flagged for that, bro. Don't be stupid. The Saints had one that I thought was correctly called, and one that was incorrectly called. But instead of just saying, I feel like that, I feel they were incorrect, I feel like we might as well read the rule book. Might as well read the rule book. See what it says. Ladies and gentlemen, the following is a presentation of the NFL's official rulebook from the year 2021. That means that these are the rules that the NFL's officials are actively enforcing. Which means that all of these are things. Yeah, it's kind of a... Ladies and gentlemen, roughing the passer. Quote, because the act of passing often puts the quarterback or any other player attempting a pass in a position where he is particularly vulnerable to injury, special rules against roughing the passer apply. The referee has principal responsibility for enforcing these rules. Any physical acts against a player who is in passing posture, i.e. before, during, or after a pass, which, in the referee's judgment, are unwarranted by the circumstances of the play, will be called as fouls. The referee will be guided by the following principles. I'm going to need you to note this. This is such a blatant judgment call, and it's bad how much this is. Okay. Yeah. So, this is, I believe this is rule... Yes. I believe this is Rule 12, Article 11, Section A. Roughing will be called if, in the referee's judgment, a pass rusher clearly should have known that the ball had already left the passer's hand before contact was made. Oh, I'm sorry. Pass rushers are responsible for being aware of the position of the ball in passing situations. The referee will use the release of the ball from the passer's hand as his guideline that the passer is now fully protected. Once a pass has been released by a passer, a rushing defender may make direct contact with the passer only up to... only up through the rusher's first step after such release, prior to second step hitting the ground. Thereafter, the rusher must be making an attempt to avoid contact and must not continue to drive through or otherwise forcibly contact the passer. Incidental or inadvertent contact by a player who is easing up or being blocked into the passer will not be considered significant. Okay then. So, what do we know now? We know that because of this, that second step is the moment at which you cannot make forcible contact. Oh boy. Yeah. So, a pass rusher clearly should have known. Okay. By the way, if you're wondering how many sections this has, that was section A of G. Yeah. By the way, here's a note. When in doubt about a roughness call or potentially dangerous tactic against the passer, the referee should always call roughing the passer. Anyway, section B. A rushing defender is prohibited from committing such intimidating and punishing acts as stuffing the passer into the ground or unnecessarily wrestling or driving him down after the passer has thrown the ball, even if the rusher makes his initial contact with the passer within the one-step limitation provided for in A above. When tackling a passer who is in a defenseless posture, i.e. during or just after throwing a pass, a defensive player must not unnecessarily or violently throw him down or land on top of him with all or most of the defender's weight. Instead, the defensive player must strive to fall to the side of the quarterback's body, or to brace his fall with his arms to avoid landing on the quarterback with all or most of his body weight. So that's the body weight provision we hear a lot about and why we get such calls. But yet, you would think that this would have actually caused a flag against the Cowboys in their game against the Chargers. Because if you look at it, if you looked at that play, basically, Justin Herbert was sacked, despite the fact that he threw the ball. The guy picks him up, basically, kind of launches him into the ground. That should have been thrown a flag. They should have thrown a flag on that. Doesn't matter if a quarterback's in the grasp, you can still call roughing the passer. He is still the passer. Apparently they forgot about that. C. In covering the passer position, referees will be particularly alert to fouls in which defenders impermissibly use the helmet and or face mask to hit the passer. That's the one that got called on the Panthers. It's 100% textbook. Or use hands, arms, or other parts of the body to hit the passer forcibly in the head or neck area. That includes tapping Tom Brady on the top of the head. Now, I don't know if this is the same rule or same way it was written back in 2018, but still, that's why they throw the flag for that. See also the other unnecessary roughness rules for covering these subjects. A defensive player must not use his helmet against a passer who is in a defenseless position or posture. For example, 1. Forcibly hitting the passer's head or neck area with the helmet or face mask, even if the initial contact of the defender's helmet or face mask is lower than the passer's neck and regardless of whether the defensive player also uses his arms to tackle the passer by encircling or grasping him. Or 2. Lowering the head and making forcible contact with any part of the helmet against any part of the passer's body. This rule does not prohibit incidental contact by the mask or the helmet in the course of a conventional tackle on a passer. D. A rushing defender is prohibited from forcibly hitting in the knee area or below a passer who has one or both feet on the ground, even if the initial contact is above the knee. It is not a foul if the defender is blocked or fouled into the passer and has no opportunity to avoid him. Okay, here's one. These are 2 notes on that portion. So a defender cannot initiate a roll or lunge and forcibly hit the passer in the knees or below, even if he is being contacted by another player. 2, it is not a foul if the defender swipes or grabs a passer in the knee area or below in an attempt to tackle him, provided he does not make forcible contact with the helmet, shoulder, chest, or forearm. Okay, so now let's talk about this shit. Alright, so you read that provision, you read that second part. That is exactly what happened in the Saints game. It was in the attempt to tackle him. In fact, he makes that initial contact when Sam Darnold has the ball in his hands. The referee is looking at the play and somehow still throws the flag. I don't know where the hell y'all got that from. We also got called for unnecessary roughness for a guy being tapped on the shoes when he was just out of bounds. Tapped on the shoes. Because the defender didn't realize he was out of bounds because he was diving. What was he supposed to do? Not. The laws of gravity had taken over. He had no control. So yeah, that's my thought on that one. But let's keep going. Let's keep reading this son of a bitch. Because then we gonna talk about my thoughts. E. A passer who is standing still or fading backwards after the ball has left his hand is obviously out of the play and must not be unnecessarily contacted by an opponent through the end of the down or until the passer becomes a blocker or a runner, or, in the event of a change of possession during the down, until he assumes a distinctly defensive position. However, at any time after the change of possession, it is a foul if 1. An opponent forcibly hits the quarterback's head or neck area with his helmet, face mask, forearm, or shoulder. Yep. And 2, if an opponent lowers his head and makes forcible contact with any part of his helmet, yada, 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 that's normal. F, when the passer goes outside of the pocket area and either continues moving with the ball without attempting to advance the ball as a runner, or throws while on the run, he loses the protection of the one-step rule provided for in A above, and the protection against a low hit provided for in D above, but he remains covered by all the other special protections afforded to a passer in the pocket, B, C, and E, as well as the regular unnecessary roughness rules applicable to all player positions. If the passer stops behind the line and clearly establishes a passing posture, he will then be covered by all of the special protections for passers. G, the referee must blow the play dead as soon as the passer is clearly in the grasp and control of any tackler behind the line and the passer's safety is in jeopardy. I find that rule to be very weird. Mainly because it's like, what's your definition of that? Note, a player who initiates contact against the passer is responsible for avoiding an illegal act. This includes illegal contact that may occur during the process of attempting to dislodge the ball. A standard of strict liability applies for any contact against the passer, irrespective of any acts by the passer, such as ducking his head or curling up his body in anticipation of contact. So, yeah. By the way, where is unnecessary roughness? Because that's another one. Yes, there we go. We'll find you. Let's see. There it is. Unnecessary roughness. I love the preceding line. There shall be no unnecessary roughness. Good. That seems pointless. I'm just sitting here reading a rule book. That's what I call content, guys. This is what you get when your brain's just fried because you didn't get the job you were hoping to get. Woohoo! And also because yeah. But this one I'm actually kind of intrigued by because I'm going to look instead at... So it's forcibly contacting a runner when he is out of bounds. Note, defensive players must make an effort to avoid contact. Players on defense are responsible for knowing when a runner has crossed the boundary line, except in doubtful cases where he might step on a boundary line and continue parallel with it. Is that really your excuse? Let me read the rest of these. Player on the receiving team, nope. Running, diving, or throwing the body against or on a runner whose forward progress has been stopped, nope. Running into anybody on the ground, throwing the runner to the ground, unnecessarily running into someone who's out of the play, kicker, punter, using any part of the player's helmet, yada, 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 yeah. Yeah. So that's a thing. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that was a thing. Let's take a look at, by the way, there was an interesting roughing the kicker call in that Cowboys game. So no defensive player may run into or rough a kicker who kicks from behind the line unless such contact, yada, yada, yada. There's 7 different things that can negate it. So it's incidental and occurs after the defender has touched the kick in flight, or occurs simultaneously with the kicker kicking the ball, is caused by the kicker's own motions, occurs during a quick kick or a rugby-style kick. Really? Occurs during or after a run behind the line, occurs after a kicker recovers a loose ball on the ground. Okay, is the result of a foul, obviously. So it is a foul for roughing the kicker if a defensive player, and this is what it says, just so that we all know this, he contacts the plant leg of the kicker while his kicking leg is still in the air, or slides into or contacts the kicker when both of the kicker's feet are on the ground. It's not a foul if the contact is not severe, or if the kicker returns both feet to the ground prior to the contact and falls over a defender on the ground. When in doubt, it's roughing the kicker. That's just the thing. When in doubt, personal foul. Running into the kicker, which is the 5-yard variety, that's contacting the kicking leg or foot, even if the kicker is airborne when the contact occurs, or sliding under the kicker, preventing him from returning both feet to the ground. What happened was the Chargers punter, it was the Chargers punter, he had like that second part, basically a bunch of guys did that all at once, but they were basically trying to run right in. It was funny. It was really insane. It was like sacrifice your body for our team. And it was like, okay. And I think it was because he couldn't get the punt off right. And so it's like just as the guys get there. And it's like, By the way, there is a foul for roughing the holder. Would you like to know what that is? It is a foul for roughing a holder if a defensive player forcibly contacts the holder of a place kick, unless the contact is incidental, caused because the defender is blocked into the holder, or it occurs after the holder recovers a ball that has touched the ground. Yeah. There is an article about striking opponents with the fists, kicking or kneeing an opponent. There are exceptions. Contact to the head, neck, or face of an opponent with the palm of the hand is permitted by a defensive player who is attempting to ward off an offensive player at the line of scrimmage, provided that it is not a repeated act against the same opponent during any one contact, or by any player in a personal attempt to recover a loose ball. You know what? Fair enough. Yeah. That's new. This is interesting. Use of helmet as a weapon. A player may not use a helmet that is no longer worn by anyone as a weapon to strike, swing at, or throw at an opponent. Penalty. For illegal use of a helmet as a weapon, loss of 15 yards and automatic disqualification. If the foul is by the defense, it is also an automatic first down. Man, I wonder why that rule's in the books. I wonder why that rule's on the books. Oh, wait. You want to look at taunting? Oh, we got to foul. Nah. So then. Yeah. I was trying to find something else. Look, honestly, I gotta be honest with y'all. This isn't exactly my best stuff. That's mainly because I've had like a very busy day and also like a rough one. But like, this is what I got. I'll tell y'all the next week is gonna be better. Oh, but I can at least talk about something that happened before we go. I did a thing over the weekend. Well, before the weekend started, because the weekend starts on Saturday and ends on Sunday. That's how the weekend works. I went to a soccer game. The second soccer game I've ever been to. The first one didn't count, though. It didn't. It was an exhibition. It was LSU, number 6 in the country at the time. We're top 5 now. What the hell happened? In my freshman year, we were garbage. We were garbage. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, by the way, speaking of things that I should mention, LSU soccer, they're on fire. So was the Superdome's, what was it, the gutter thing? It's weird. Yeah, it's weird, but yeah. Yep. Yeah. Anyway, where was I? That's right, at the game. I'm picking up a scarf as if you guys can see it. What the heck am I? Stupid? Yes. Okay, this thing is so comfortable, though. Honestly, it was such a good idea. And it's really cool, and it's got the crest on it, and you can't see it. It's one of them soccer scarves, and it's got a crest on it, which we redesigned this year, and it looks really cool. And it's got passion, pride on one side, and okay, it's got the same thing on both sides. Never mind. Yeah. Now this team is top 5 now. We're undefeated. We're 8-0. We got a couple games this week, and I wish I could go to one of them, to the home game, but unfortunately, yeah, that's at 11 a.m. on a Sunday. Why did you have to put it at 11 a.m. on a Sunday? Do you not know people have Mass? This is a Catholic state. Or at least a Catholic area. I mean, come on, y'all. You're better than this. You're better than that. You honestly couldn't have put that on a Sunday night? I just skip Sunday Night Football for that. I'm serious. I don't watch LSU play Georgia. We're a top 5 team. You don't get to see top 5 teams that often. Hopefully we're a top 5 team. Because, yeah, we're really good. We've beaten a bunch of top 25 opponents. We're 8-0. We haven't tied a game either. And it was really fun to go. You had all the students there, and it was funny. And, like, we were kind of sort of heckling the Mississippi State. We were playing Mississippi State. We won 2-0. The Mississippi State goalkeeper in the second half when they were over here, which frankly seems like a brilliant move of always making sure they play on our side. Alternatively, we should just switch sides at halftime. This is a brilliant move that we should definitely be doing, and this is not a joke. I'm being serious. Heckling the goalkeeper every half is funny. It's funny. And awesome, like, trying to remember. Oh, yeah, it was Maddie. And, yeah, she was really good about it. And it's like, yes, you're having fun with it. This is good. This is enjoyable. And, like, I'm just saying this. People, when that happens, it's a good time for us all. Especially because we won 2-0, and one of those goals was an own goal. Thank you, Mississippi State, for giving us the win. Sorry, I'm just so happy we're winning and we're good at something. I like being I like LSU being good at things. It's fun to have a sports team that's good. Why does the football team have to be so disappointing? Why does it have to be disappointing? Why are you disappointing me? Oh, speaking of things that disappoint me, we lost to Troy in women's volleyball. Can we please do something about that? I have an idea. I've had this idea since I learned about our head coach. By the way, she don't need to be here no more. She can't recruit and she can't win. I'm sorry, but it's been long enough. You need to tell her, like, we need to get more wins or else you're gone. Because we have no reason to be losing to Troy. I mean, if we fired everyone after they lost to Troy, we wouldn't have exactly kept on Coach O, which, hey, I mean, that could have been worse. God. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking back to Tom Herman rumors. God, remember when that almost happened? That was stupid. But yeah. Oh, I've been live for 41 minutes. That's actually longer than I thought I would be. Oh, wait, that's right. 10 of those minutes were early. So that's going to wrap this one up. This was a short, sweet, and stupid episode of the 2-point conversion, where I can't believe I literally just said that it was goal to go live. My God, I just said that. Nope, that was embarrassing. Let's pretend I never did that. Let's pretend I did do that. Let's do everything and anything. I'm Ben. If you want to donate to the Hurricane Eye Relief, link in the description thingy, my bob. If you want to find me on Twitter, find me at capital BEN, capital S, capital L, capital A, capital S, PORTS. Once again, I've been Ben Schluter. This has been Goal to Go Live. Hope you have a fantastic week. I'll be back with the normal Goal to Go on Thursday. The kickoff show on Friday. We're going to have an episode of the 2-point conversion on Sunday and Monday. My goodness gracious, I do a podcast 5 out of the 7 days of the week. And I ain't stopping now. So that's going to do it for this one. Bye-bye. Have a great night.